All right, so right here we have the MPC Live 3. There's so much going on under the hood with this Live Mark 3. Now, I don't want to overwhelm you with all these new features because there's a lot that is going on with this Live 3. You guys can watch other videos. So many people are covering what you get with the Live Mark 3. I'm gonna sample a track, just something really fast, and start exploring on how I'm able to develop some rhythmic grooves using this tool. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just create one bar. It sounds kind of crazy, but I'm gonna create one bar drum loop using the step sequencer. One bar seems very short. I'm usually at 4 bars because I want to create variation, but this is more than just a simple punch in your steps. If you do get value out of this video and you're thinking of picking up an MPC Live Mark 3, I do have links down in the description to Zounds. It does support my channel without costing you any extra. Zounds is awesome. That's where I've purchased most of my gears. You can set up a payment plan. They do not check your background. So if you're gonna purchase a Live Mark 3, make sure you use some of my links. All right, let's get back into the video. So let's bring in a track right here. I'm gonna have this track number 2. Track number 2, we're gonna sample, and I'm not gonna focus too much on sampling right now. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and record a 2-bar loop. All right, so let me go ahead and stop right here. This is where the step sequencer is just clicked with me right away. If you've been following my channel, you'll know that I am not the best finger drummer. I don't have a really tasteful natural groove. I've tried to freestyle my drums and sound like somebody else or other people that go all crazy. It's not the business for me. It's pretty embarrassing if I try to finger drum. So I usually just lock in and quantize, and after I record everything quantized, I'll go into the grid editor and I'll start to nudge notes around. So for someone like me, using and having this step sequencer right here is really helpful. Now, how I'm using the step sequencer is right now I created a 2-bar loop with my sample chops. Cool, this sounds great. I'm gonna rock with this. I wanna start looking and searching for drums that might match or blend well with this sample. But as I'm searching and browsing for my drums, I'm able to, on the fly, start using the step sequencer and locking in certain notes without having to stop the music. For example, if I go to my track number 1, this is where I'm gonna start looking for drums and one-shots. I'm gonna go right here to this clips, and on this clips, I'm gonna create a clip, and I'm gonna make this just 1 bar. So the sample track is looping 2 bars. Every 2 bars is looping. And on this drums track, it's just gonna loop once. So it's gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's not going to bank through different banks or anything like that. It's gonna stay locked in. So I'm gonna have everything right here. I'm gonna visualize all of my steps. So that's gonna be helpful for me as I'm searching and dropping in a few steps at the same time. I'm gonna go into my browser and I'm gonna start digging through some samples. I'm gonna go into this sample pack. This is the Beat Butcher Filth Volume 8. Some awesome one-shots. I'll leave a link down in the description if you wanna use some of these one-shots. And I'm gonna go into kicks. And I'm gonna start auditioning some of these kicks as my loop is playing back. I wanna get a feel, and I wanna see if this kick is gonna work, if it blends well, if there's a good mixture. Let's go ahead and audition. Ooh, I like this. I already like that kick. All right, so I got a few kicks right here that I like how it sounds blended with the beat. When I'm building a track, when I'm right now in this locked in zone and I have a sequence that I'm already have chopped up, I get this high within me. I get this energy. I get this ecstasy feeling. And when I have this, I don't want to stop. I am locked in and I want to just keep moving. And as I'm inspired by some of these kicks, snares, or hats, I'm already recording stuff down on the grid. So being able to audition, I already like how this sounds. I want to start laying those notes down, visualizing my grid without having to leave my browser. I'm gonna go into my snares, and we're not gonna stop the music. Yeah. Stay right there. Now let's go into our hi-hats. And as is moving, remember, this is just one bar. So it might feel like, all right, just what am I gonna do with one bar? It's too repetitive. And everything is locked in to this grid value. There's no swing. Well, check this out. On the fly, while I have this moving right now, I'm able to adjust velocity of each individual step by just holding down the step and bringing this down. Yeah, all right, so that's cool. I can adjust the velocity, but what about the swing? May I nudge some notes left or right? Absolutely. You go to your step edit, and some of these notes, if I select it, it just reflects that I'm selecting on step 3. I can nudge this about 50 ticks. Let's go to step 5. Also, there you go. Now it's starting to swing a bit. And let's say we want to create some ratcheting on some of these hi-hats. I can select this one, bring up the velocity, add some ratcheting. Yeah, I could even modify that. And I can tune it up. Maybe right here we could add some ratcheting as well. But I'm gonna tune it up. All right, cool. And some of these hi-hats, let's say this one, I don't want it to be triggered all the time. I just want a probability to be at 50%, meaning there's only a 50% chance that that note will get triggered every time it loops around. So it's never going to play back the same exact sequence. On a lot of these, I can add probability. These are kind of like triplets, and I don't want them to get triggered all the time. I'm adding probability on every other note. So it's always going to be a different repetition. Let's go ahead and add some ratcheting right here, and I'm gonna tune this down. Go back to our kick, and I can add some ghost kicks every now and then, and also put probability on some of these. Yeah. So I know I'm probably moving a bit fast, but the power of the step sequencer is a combination of just dropping in the notes, and once I have something locked in, a basic boom boom bap beats, everything's on the grid, everything's quantized. Well, as you saw me changing velocity, just holding down a note, and as I'm holding it down, this channel strip turns into my velocity. That is so easy and fast to change your velocity. I don't have to jump into the grid editor and start nudging. I don't have to explore that side if I have it all right here. Now, notice how I did this only with one bar. Well, these hi-hats, a lot of these notes, every other hi-hat, I have probability engaged. So every time it loops around, there's a either 50% chance, a 40, a 30, an 80% chance that that note will trigger on or off. So every time it loops around just one bar, it's gonna give me a different variation. Same thing with my kicks. I can add some do-doom, a ghost kick. Say this one, I'm gonna add this right here. That's cool. That actually sounds very cool, but it's just too loud. I'm gonna lower that down so it's not as loud. And I want to nudge this a little bit to the right so it has some doo-doom, some groove to it. So in order for me to nudge the notes, I just go to Set, Step, Edit. Select that, and I can nudge it about 50 ticks. Do I want that to trigger every bar? Doom, doom, doom. Nah, maybe I want it to have a probability of 70% of the times that it loops is going to trigger. All right, right here in probability, I'll leave it at 65%. So every loop is going to have variation. The hi-hats, the snare, the kicks, they all have a little bit of probability in them as I'm laying down my groove on a 1-bar loop, and it's just creating different rhythmic grooves. But I will tell you something right now. There is no chance in hell that I would have created that by finger drumming. I'm not that person. Ratchet some hi-hats and put some ghost kicks and this and that. Like, I would never come up with a groove that sounds like this on my own. I'm obviously using the tools that I have right here in a combination of where I want this to move. All right, that's cool. You know, you can add velocity, you can swing some of the notes left and right. It's still just 1 bar. It's still gonna be a little too repetitive. Well, yes, and check this out. You can also, let's say you want to add some reverb on 1 note or on 1 hi-hat or on 1 kick. Like for example, let's say this is my snare. You can see what you have going down on the snare. Everything that's red is what you have laid down on the grid within this patch. This is all my red notes are all my kicks. Well, if on the snare, let's say the second snare, I want that one to have a reverb tail or any plugin. It doesn't have to be reverb. It could be a bit crusher, EQ, whatever you want it to do. If I jump into set automation, I'm able to use this step right here, step 13, that's my second snare, and it's gonna tell me what parameter do I want to automate right there. I'm gonna create new, I'm gonna go to my mixer, I'm gonna go to send 1, and I'm gonna add automation right here. It's gonna say how much do I wanna send to that reverb, whatever. I'm gonna put it at 100% just so we can really hear it. Hit close, and let's hear it. Now, only the second snare is going to be triggered with that plugin that I'm sending it to. That is super cool. I'm actually just soloing this drum groove, and again, I would never be able to do this on my own just using my natural creativity. Again, I'm using the blend, a mixture of ratcheting, probability, note nudging, automation, all within this grid step sequencer. And this is just 1 bar. Let's say you're like, all right, cool, but I want to extend that 1 bar. I think I want to make that into 4 bars. Well, what's really cool is if we hop over to the clips page, we can now just hit this little pencil icon and double length that with the notes. So now it just copied everything in that 1 bar of what we just created with our drums and put it on the second bar. So now essentially these drums are 2 bars long. Look, I'm not going to make this video longer than it needs to be. I'll be launching more videos. Hopefully tomorrow we get to cover warping and stem separation. Guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Do not forget, if you guys want to pick up an MPC, use some of my links down in the description. Thank you all so much. I'll catch y'all on our next video. Peace.